Hello guys, welcome again. So let's talk about Bitcoin. So as you can see here, we have a actually very interesting drop this last week actually, where Bitcoin was around here, around $118,000. Right now, actually crashed around 112. Let me explain. In short term, right, I was actually bullish, very short term, around here. I think was Thursday last week when we got this buy signal here in 4 hour chart. The volume was looking decent, at least in short term, and the projection was like this, right? After that, maybe remember 4 hour chart is only for one day, but I was looking for actually a potential sideways, or maybe actually I was looking for sideways here in this range, looking for maybe 114 $15,000. As you can see here, Bitcoin in 4 hour chart actually bounced a little bit, maybe around 119, around there. And after that, well, just drop it, right? After 1 hour, after maybe just actually one day. What I did here is, like in my case, I was in long position around here. I protected my entry, and well, when I wake up, Bitcoin actually just dropped, and it's fine, right? It's okay. So now at this point, we were in sideways, still in sideways here, right? Of course, because I am looking for this sideways action, right? Price sideways. I decided to open a long position around here, around $14,000, 200, something like that. And after that, we saw a small bounce here in short term. Let me show you here in the short term. We saw this bounce, and after when I saw this bounce, of course I protected my entry, and after that, I got to stop it again. No losses, just risk management is very important. Remember. So, and after that, we have this drop to the ME55. Now, the question is, what we can expect right now. Bitcoin actually hit the target ME55 here, and Bitcoin is actually bouncing a little bit, right? Only just 2% from this point. So, and it's about to fire a buy signal very soon, very soon. But there is no volume here. That doesn't mean, I'm not trying to say Bitcoin is gonna crash from here. Of course not. Bitcoin actually easily could continue just pumping a little bit here, right? Even making new highs here, but without volume. We have many examples in the past. For example, here, Bitcoin without volume here just was in sideways here, and after that a major bounce here, and after that crash, right? My point here is, like, not because you don't see the volume here, right? That means Bitcoin is gonna crash right now to the zero. Of course not. It's a process. So in price action, the trend is your friend, and the trend is still to the upside, right? Now, in 1 day chart, right, I am looking for a bounce. In my case, I went to 4 hour chart, and because it was weekend, I don't trade weekends, but the entry was here actually around $13,000, 200, around there. And from there, of course, the target it should be around the ME55, right? Around here, the ME55 here, around 116, 115. Now, in my case, I am flat. I didn't trade this move because it was weekend. Now, what I'm waiting right now is actually for the next opportunity. Usually, right, is like this. Bitcoin is actually bouncing, or any asset is bouncing, and after that, a drop here, and it's gonna start forming a small basement here, and finally, after that, we could see a buy signal here, where of course the resistance is gonna be potentially $118,000. Now, the question is actually Bitcoin I mean, what is going to be the next move? Well, the thing here is, like, if you pay attention here to the volume here, this drop here it was not supported by volume. That's my point. This drop, the volume here, the selling pressure was very small. So that's why actually I'm bullish here in the short term, 1 day chart, midterm, maximum just 1 week, where I am expecting to see sideways here, and bounce here, and potentially another test to 119, 120k, around there with this buy signal, because the volatility is very low. As long as Bitcoin is above the ME55, exponential moving average ME55, $112,000 around there, that is the price. I am still bullish in the short term, mid term. Okay, please don't get confused, because people usually they get confused when I am saying I am bullish here, but not in the macro, right? That is a big difference. So right now in one day chart, as you can see, there is no volume here. So I don't believe this crash or this drop is actually real. I think it potentially could be a bear trap as long as Bitcoin is holding the MA55, right? Of course, in my case, I am just waiting for the signal. Of course, now it's too late in my case, right? In my case, it's too late because it was this weekend, right? Here. But usually the market is like this, right? It's a bounce here and after a drop here, and maybe in this drop, as long as it's not breaking the MA55, I will open a long, I'm thinking to open a long position here, looking for maybe 118, 120K. Now, one day chart is not the most important chart right now. I mean, short term, mid term is okay, but what actually happened this week? Well, let me show you. This is very scary. This is very scary. Why? Because this close is amazing. This close is awesome. Bitcoin actually broke this candle here. Is actually continuation, actually to the downside. Now with this the better variance, we have 1 2 3 strikes of better variance, as you can see here. I think next week potentially we'll see the ADX negative here, and looks like Bitcoin in weekly basis is getting ready for a major correction, and where the target should be the MI55 around 90K. That is the target potentially. And also we have a better variance in volume. What I'm trying to say here, when you see the orange dot here or the orange bar here as well, this move it's just telling me the move from to $123,000. It was with actually very low volume. So the buyers are getting weaker and weaker. That's my point. Now, as you can see here right now, we have not just only that, we have in momentum, we have also here in OBV, we have a better variance here, very strong better variance since forming since last year. We have 1 2 3 around 3 better variance here, all of this move, right? All of this. So I think it's time for Bitcoin to start dropping in the macro scale. And of course, looking for maybe, yeah, the first level is going to be around 110. And honestly, I mean, the target for me is going to be around 100K. Eventually, Bitcoin will hit this area. But what I can tell you right now, because there is no, Bitcoin is losing momentum right now, and we have a very strong better variance here. There is a very high chance if, of course, we could see 90, 95, 100K, but there is a very high probability this time if we see this test is not gonna be very strong like this one. Of course, I cannot say that right now because the trend is your friend and the trend is still to the upside, right? It's still to the upside. But usually when you see the volatility is very red here, usually you see sideways here. Sorry, it's not this one, it's here, sideways here, or the climax of the move. In this case, because we have volatility very low here, right? And now it's very high. Potentially, this could be the climax of this move. So what I'm trying to say is there is a very good chance you see a buy. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is if I see this bounce, of course, I'm going to open long positions here when the time comes, as long as Bitcoin is respecting the MI55 and volatility is very low, right? Be careful here because volatility is very, very low. If you are bearish right now and you are in short around 118 and you want to see Bitcoin crashing, I would suggest just protect your entry and wait for the best because we cannot predict the future, right? But you can manage your risk. Minimize your losses here just in case if Bitcoin crash and is actually breaking the MI55, you will be in a very good profit. But as I said before, in my case, I am just respecting my system. In this case, technically speaking, if you are in short from here, your target should be the MI55. Now, looking for short-term bounce, yes, of course. And potentially this bounce is, of course, there is a very high probability this bounce is going to be a bull trap. And after that, another short. And after that, another short, as long as weekly chart with sell signal is present. Now, the question is the bull market over? Of course not. Technically speaking, following I mean, if we follow the trend until the end, Bitcoin is in uptrend. But as investor, this is the setup, actually the classic setup, at least with my system, where we take profits and we just say goodbye and wait for maybe, I don't know, a couple years after that. So one thing here is like, for first time in the history, we don't have data like this. It's actually this crash, as you can see, two various variants. Here we have two, and here we have only one. So maybe this crash or this correction, it could be worse than 2021, but that is just a speculation. Now, one thing I want to show you here is in favor of bulls right now. If we compare 2021 here, this drop, this bounce and the drop, and here with the volume, well, this is my indicator PCA. So volume study analysis here. As you can see here, the volume here, when Bitcoin was in 2021 around $67,000, something like that, we saw the multiple green bars. This is telling you, well, when it's in the top, right, is bulls are getting exhausted, and usually after that you see orange bars. That means, well, finally Bitcoin is getting ready. In this case, the asset is getting ready to crash. Another signal is this: we have multiple various variances forming in volume. So that's why in 2021, of course, in that time I didn't have this indicator. I used only OBB, but of course I said in that time, careful here, because we have multiple various variances here. So this move from 30K to 69K, I know it's a lot, right? It's huge, this move, but it's gonna be a bullish, a bull trap in the macro time frame. And after that, I was right? After what happened, Bitcoin crashed around 70%. Now we have the first signal here. We have here the first various variance here around $123,000. But the good news is I don't see the similar setup. Actually, OBB in this moving average is OBB in the short term is the slope is positive. So this is telling me we are not there yet. I mean, potentially we could just see sideways here for maybe a couple months, right? Potentially the best scenario. But you should be worried about something when you see finally the next bar. For example, if this bar, the next bar, I mean this week, is like this, I mean is decreasing, you will see that the trend is gonna start changing in volume. And also with OBB now we got the confirmation. Actually, the volume is getting actually weaker, right? So what it could happen here in the following this month, something like this, right? Like the bars are smaller and smaller, and finally the trend is gonna change in volume. And also we will see, if we see this bounce here in price action, because this is very normal, right? Market makers, they love to do this, right? They are pushing the price very high without volume, and after that just they dump everything, right? So we will see, we could see some dots here, 3 or 4 dots, and after that for me it's gonna be a major trigger. Finally I can tell you, looks like Bitcoin is getting ready to do something like in 2021. We are not there yet, okay? Not yet, okay? I'm still bullish here for Bitcoin in uptrend. I mean, the uptrend is very strong. The fact is that we see just the chart is strong here. Still, the trend. I mean, the trend is your friend. But as investor, this is for me the first time. Of course, talking about using just my original system, right? Talking about yes, this is actually for me. Actually, without this indicator, when I see this, the better variance here, and losing the OBB, sorry, here, the moving average, this one for me is enough to start taking profits here. Around 115, 118, 120, and I don't care about the price. Sorry, after that. Why? Because we will see the ADX negative here in the following weeks. So now let's talk about the monthly, because we have a new month to close, right? So let me show you something very interesting here. Bitcoin is actually forming 1, 2, 3 various variances since 2024. You see, this is something new. It's the first time we have this kind of signals. Now, I don't want to scare you, because I know you are very bullish right now. Some of you are making good profits in this bull market. Congratulations, right? But that's the problem. When you are making profits in the bull market, you make you feel like you are expert and you are very good right now. You master trading, right? Because you are so good. Well, in bull markets you can make profits, but the question is, do you know how to keep them? That's the question. Yeah, you can make some profits, but you lose everything after everything crash because you didn't manage your risk. What is the point? You need to learn. You need to understand how to make the profits, yes, and how to keep them, right? So that's why always you have to see the both sides of the market, not just only one side, right? So the thing here is like the ADX is still positive here in momentum here. Very rare case. This is very strange because we don't have any example in the past. Since 2013, Bitcoin is the first time it's doing this. So, well, it was exceptional, okay? But even with this exception here, that doesn't mean my system is not working. It's just the probabilities. Now we have the first signal here. This system in monthly, well, right now maybe is just 80%, 70% correct. Because in the past, every time when we got the signal here, sell signal, we have most of the time is actually real. So you have a sell signal here, crash, 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 with some exceptions. This exception in 2020, and now this exception in 2025. So we can say maybe it's around 70%, 80% right, at least right now. Now, the thing here is like if we see the monthly here, the sell signal is still present, right? In the moment when the ADX is negative, it's gonna be very bad because Bitcoin will have to pay the bill, right? What is the bill? 1, 2, 3 strikes of beautiful better appearance. Where if we are very strict, we have this support right now. You see, Bitcoin every time. If you pay it, actually, it was very interesting when I was doing this because if you see this line here is acting as support, right? When you see this here, I am not calling the bottom or the top. No, in the price action, I'm talking about the basement line in volume. Here in 2029, after the Corona crash, Bitcoin tested this line around this line, and after a major bounce, and after a testing here around the same line in 2023 when Bitcoin was at 20K, and after a bounce, and after that, a little bit below here around this area when it was around $27,000. And after that tested, actually this line was tested in April. I didn't know that because actually I didn't study this properly. Now again, this line is like the support. The question is, now you can see here Bitcoin in volume is testing very often, and actually the volume is not increasing. That's my point. You see the price is like super high, right? Very expensive Bitcoin to the moon is gonna hit 1 million, right? But the volume is telling me something very different. So this is not technical. Well, technical analysis, yes, but is following the theory like the volume must follow the price. In this case, it's not happening. Bitcoin is pumping very hard since 2022, but without volume in the micro scale. That's my point. Now, if you study here, we study actually in the monthly what happened with the BSA here. Looks like the only purple bar here is in 2020. This is telling me after the Corona crash, major institutions, massive, a lot of volume came to the markets in 2020, and since then, we don't have more money. So it's just I'm guessing, right? Please, I want to be clear. I am guessing here. I don't have any. The second one is this one, but this one is in the top. When you see this one in the top after a major crash, potentially a major reversal. When you see this one, the purple bar in the top or orange, well, actually is the opposite. So when I was studying this weekend, it's like, okay, so they both here and they sold here. Nice, right? So retailers, we are here, right? All the people in FOMO. But guys, the smart money, they both here and they sold here. Potentially. It's just a theory because I don't have the evidence. The only thing I am telling you here, this chart is studying the spikes. How much money is coming into the markets and how much money is leaving the markets. So right now here we have this strong sign here in around $110,000, $115,000 institutions, well, people with a lot of money, they started cashing out. Now, in favor of this volume, the volume, at least the momentum in volume in monthly is still positive, right? But when you see the gray candles, that means it's flat. I mean, there is no major difference. And this is a warning sign because usually when you see this kind of things, right, the market it will start changing or reversing. In this case, gray candle, and after that, you see gray candles or bars, sorry, and after that, what happened? And after that, here, right, we have two. So potentially in the following months, we could see a major correction as well. Now, I am bullish, of course, yes, the trend is my friend until the end. Bitcoin is to the upside, yeah, sure. But I'm just telling you, in the long term, potentially as investor, we could see a major opportunity because potentially Bitcoin is getting ready for a major correction in the macro scale. Now, if we imagine now we have better variance in weekly chart, right? And finally the market is correcting. The obvious target in the month, the MA55 is the target. As you can see here, since 2015, the MA55 has been our friend here, and here this is a warning sign for me. This is a warning sign in the long term. Of course, this is telling me the MA55 is not very strong like before, right? And now is at a 56, where potentially if we see this, the better parties for finally they are playing right now, or in the following months, or maybe by the end of the year, we could see Bitcoin around maybe 50k, 55k, or the lowest around 40k. But it's too soon, right? It's too soon for saying that. Right now, I want to just to focus on one thing. Let me show you to the chart. To the chart, we have a better variance here. Yep. Through the chart, we have here a better variance as well with ADX negative here. By the chart, we have a better variance with ADX negative here. So Bitcoin in the long term weekly chart is not good. So I am not a financial advisor, but just get ready for a potential correction. And this correction is what is going to be significant. From here to the MA55 is around 21%. In bull markets, usually Bitcoin is dropping around 30%, 25%. So from the top to here is around 27%. From here to here, is around here to here is around 29%. And from here to here is around 25. As you can see here, Bitcoin is still bullish, yes, with very strong signals, yeah. The question is, okay, so what we want to see if Bitcoin wants to reverse a trend? It's very simple. We have the example here. 2021. Please just go back here. Bitcoin is testing the MA55, actually broke the MA55, and it was in sideways for maybe 2-3 months, and after that continuation. So you don't want to see this. If we see Bitcoin around maybe in the following months at 90k, 95, and you see Bitcoin is lazy, it's not bouncing, it's just lazy, right? It's wasting time, maybe another 2-3 months there. Get ready because the next target is gonna be, well, another 50% crash. Because after that, historically speaking, right, you can do it yourself. When Bitcoin breaks the MA55, usually after that, the crash is around 50%. So from here to here is around 30%, and from the MA55 to the bottom is around 50%. So like this, okay? You can think in two phases, right? So the first one is the most important one is this one. I'm gonna change the color here. Let me change the color. It's gonna be maybe blue here. That is the first test. And after that, if Bitcoin crash, this one is gonna be the second scenario, okay? Okay, now let's continue. I'm gonna continue with 4-hour chart. Just one moment, because actually I want to trade today. Not trade for me, not trade for me. I have to wait. Okay. Now in short term, some people ask me, hey, how to use this BSA? Well, it's not an indicator itself. It's more like a study. You need to understand price action and specifically volume. You need to get familiar with OBV. In my case, I'm using OBV for many years. That's why for me it's quite easy to understand this now. But what is telling you this is what is happening in every time when a new candle is closing. What kind of volume, right? Is positive, negative, is bullish, bearish? What happened? For example, in 4-hour chart here, as you can see here, Bitcoin crash, but without volume. So what happened here? In this crash here, you see 1, 2, 3, 4 dots, all this region for one day. In the short term, people with a lot of money, they were actually accumulating Bitcoin here. Yeah. Excuse me. Let me. Okay. In this area, specifically in this area, is from here to here. People with a lot of money in the short term, they were accumulating. And after that, the price is bouncing right now. The volume is increasing here. So what happened here? They are in profit. They are in profit in the short term. Of course, the target is going to be around the ME55, and potentially in the short term, they could take profits here. Profits here, and after that, another pullback here, looking for a potential maybe buy signal here, and after that, finally the real move. Usually, the market is like that. Of course, it's not the same. It's not always the same, please. You need to understand. Sometimes the conditions are different, but most of the time it's like that. Now, in one day chart, it's very different. We don't have volume. We have all the first bolus divergence here, but we don't have volume. So also we don't have momentum yet. So we have to wait maybe a couple of days more. Maybe by Wednesday, I think, this week, potentially we could see a buy signal. Now, if we see a buy signal here, someone asked me, okay, if I buy a buy here, and the price is too far from the ME55, you miss it. You miss the move. So you want to follow my system. You cannot expect to buy in the exact price, because it's very funny. Like some traders, Bitcoin is gonna crash or it's gonna hit $107,000 with 20 cents. Oh, really? Wow. I wonder how they can calculate even the cents, right? The decimals. It's very impressive. In my case, I am not that smart, so that's why I prefer to work with zones. In this case, this is the zone I want to buy. Of course, my leverage, if I want to use futures, is gonna be very, very small, maybe 3x, maximum 5x, where potentially the position should be like this. If you want to open long positions right now, because you want to maybe move, you want to anticipate this move in one day chart, I would suggest, well, you can do it. You are free to do that. Yeah. But the closest you are from the ME55 is better. Right now, the price is around only 2%. In one day chart, a swing position, only 2% is okay. Yeah. For example, in this case, swing position. And the problem here is your 2% here is around the ME55. What happened if Bitcoin hit the ME55 again one more time? You will get a stop it. Your stop loss is gonna hit, because your stop loss actually is gonna be in the ME55. You cannot do that. You have to move, maybe around another 2%. So your stop loss should be around 4%. Now the question is it worth it? Is it worth it? Well, because the target is around the resistance, around $118,000. So in one day chart, your target should be around here, 118. Is it worth it? Of course, it's not. If you are going to open a long position right now here at this point, is because you are expecting Bitcoin will do a new ATA. Is the only way to do it, like to see like this is worth it. It's like the reward ratio, risk reward ratio should be around 2. So we are talking about new ATA. So if you are going to open a long position right now here, it's because you are expecting Bitcoin will make a new all-time high. Is that going to be the only way, like actually it's worth it to open a long position right now here? How you want to make it worth it? How you want? Okay, so well, you have to wait for another test, hopefully, right, to the ME55 here, where the price is around here. So now your odds are much better, right? So you open the long position here, 2%, only 2% rate potentially here, right? And now your odds are, well, a little bit more better. It's around the ratio is 2.50. So this is a trade actually makes sense. You can lose 2% to make another 2.5%. You see? Actually, no, sorry, 5%. So actually this setup is good. Now in one day chart, the one that you're set up is now is a little bit late. You want to open a long position right now here, you need to wait for new ATA. But that's why I don't want to take a long position right now, because for me it's a little bit late. So what I want to do is I'm gonna wait for this move to finish, right? This move to finish. I'm gonna wait for the pullback, hoping Bitcoin will hit around the ME55, and from there I will start looking for maybe another long position. Now, for me in the short term, looking for this move from here to here is not worth it, because if I open a long position from here, 114,800 to here is just only 1%. Maybe in 1 hour chart you can do that, if you want, right? Maybe in 1 hour, but in 1 hour actually Bitcoin hit the target from here, ME55. No, thank you. So what I'm trying to say is there is no position right now. The only way to do that here is just waiting for the pullback in the short term. Yeah, we need to increase our odds to make profits. So that's why always I said very close to the ME55 must be your position, your short or your long, whatever. It's not gonna work all the time. Yeah, you will get stopped, but based on probabilities, well, you eventually you will make it. Yeah, maybe you will lose maybe 30% of the time, but you will win. But you could win around 60-65% all the time, according to my system right now. So let's continue with more. I'm gonna continue with USD dominance, because actually it's very, very important what is happening right now. And let me show you here. USD dominance is gonna fire a sell signal, and actually that is very positive for Bitcoin. It's very positive, looking for a potential maybe another test to maybe 4%. But don't get me wrong, okay? Remember, short term, mid term, I am bullish. 1 week, 10 days, no more. Why? Because USD dominance actually is printing a buy signal in the monthly. So in the following 3 months, I am bullish here. Looking, it is a consolidation, looking for another test to the at least 5%, extension to 8%. Okay. So, well, be careful here. You are in FOMO because maybe you are making profits with Cardano, with Solana, and you are thinking, yeah, this time I'm gonna be millionaire. Yeah, you will, but you have to learn how to protect your positions and keep your money. That's why you cannot be emotional, especially when you are talking about finance. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, now in one day chart, weekly chart, yep. In the monthly here, technically speaking, we still have this momentum is to the downside, but it's very weak. I will be very careful, especially with the ADX very low here. Anytime could just the slope could be positive here, and it's gonna be very bad. Okay, so that's why I will be very careful here. For me, in my humble opinion, this is consolidation, very strong consolidation. Okay, careful here. Now let's continue with the comments. Yeah, Solana. Let's talk about Solana. Solana, monthly sideways. What I can tell you, sideways is not good. This guy in weekly chart is a sell signal here. No, thank you, not for me, right? Let me fix this. The performance of Solana in this last move is very bad. No, thank you, right? This is the exit. The exit. The volume is not very bad, but it's not. I mean, it's not good. It's just in sideways here. Okay, let's talk about Ethereum because yeah, Ethereum, right? It's gonna replace Bitcoin, right? Yeah, YouTubers love to do these kind of things. Okay, remember what I said to you last week? Okay, no, thank you. This is not for me. No, I don't care. I don't care. Ethereum will hit 10,000. I don't care. Yeah, the entry was here. I don't trade altcoins, but the entry was here, around 1,700, 1,800, and sell signal is about to fire. So the first target should be the ME55 here, right? The ME55, technically speaking. Instead, Ethereum actually defended very well this area, and after that tested the top of the resistance. So no, thank you. And also we have 1, 2 better divergence here in volume. So what I'm trying to say, this move is not following the principle, like the volume must follow the price. Okay, so that's why I will be careful here. For me, this is the area to take profits, right? Of course, as a trader or investor, not like I don't get married with any altcoin, right? Okay, so now let's continue with XRP. Terrible better divergence, terrible. And here, this is something I really love about this indicator, BSA indicator for OBB. Here, purple candles, 3 candles here, right? Big money, smart money, they bought in March 2024 when it was around 0.50 cents. Since then, only retailers are just buying this thing. Okay, people who are in FOMO, in simple words. And now we see the major crashes here. Every time when it's a crash here, crash. Yep, and here another. You see, there are signals you have to pay attention, and it's when the market makers they buy here. That's why I love this indicator. It's not like, for me, it's a secondary indicator because you have a buy signal here, you have a buy signal here, and you see market makers are printing these kind of purple candles. It's a buy opportunity, at least for me. Okay, now let's continue. Let's continue with more. Cardano, what is doing Cardano? Cardano, better divergence here in volume, of course, getting rejected by the ME55. Yep, not good, not good, my friend, not good. So sell signal is about to print here, is very close, sideways, breaking 0.50. The next target is around 0.40. Now let's see the monthly. Monthly, this is very, very, very depressing for Cardano, honestly. I know you love Cardano. I know. We love Cardano, right? We are a big fan of Cardano, I know. The thing here is like, you see the volume, right? The volume, sorry, not the volume, like the price action here. The ME55 here is acting as support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Now you are thinking, oh my God, it's super strong, this ME55, right? It's super strong. No, it's not. It's getting weaker and weaker. The reason why Cardano is testing a lot this MA55 is because, well, it's getting weaker. When it's actually very strong, you want to see just 1 or 2 tests, and from there to the moon. When it's very strong support, you actually, in just few cases, you have the opportunity to buy there because it's very fast. But when you see these kind of things, plus the momentum is actually terrible here, this thing is about to break down. Just saying, right? Just saying. I'm not saying right now, but the next target is obviously 0.30 cents. But if this area breaks, there is a very high chance this area is going to break down. So still thinking for something terrible for Cardano in the long term. In the next bear market, still looking for 10 cents, 0.10 cents, yeah, in the next bear market. So that's why if you're a holder here and you, oh my, yeah, Cardano, I have a tattoo here in my shoulder. I love Cardano. Well, my friend, I will be very careful here, especially also for Solana. Solana, same thing, right? Many people, oh yeah, Solana is going to replace Ethereum. Potentially, yes, I am very bullish in Solana. I like Solana, yeah. But I always separate my feelings from my emotions from the facts in the chart. Yep. Okay, now let's continue with the stock market. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the stock market. Let me show you here, for example, SP500 here. We have the monthly better divergence confirmation here. Let me see the weekly chart. Weekly chart, sell signal. Careful. I think this month is gonna be, we will have rejection here. Sorry, a correction. Looking for 6,800 around there, potentially there, and rejected by the MA55 here. So yeah, and we have, wow, we have multiple better divergence in volume here. So there is a very high probability to see 5,700, 5,750 around there. Let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is about to print as a signal here, testing the 55 here, looking for actually another test to maybe 127 in the long term. Nike testing the 55 here is gonna fire a new sell signal here. Don't get me wrong, I am very bullish here in the following years now. Okay, now let's see Oracle. Oracle sell signal in the weekly chart, very bullish here, very bullish. The pullback is gonna be a buy opportunity. This one Ferrari is crashing all the way down to the MA55 here, MA100 actually in this case. Technically speaking, is a buy opportunity. Of course, yes, it is. The trend is your friend until the end. Silver, getting ready for a mirror drop. Tesla, getting ready for this drop actually. Yeah, sell signal here. We have this signal. Gold is very bullish. I love this thing. This thing is gonna keep pumping. Yeah, it's gonna keep pumping. This guy is gonna test around 285. Uh, yep, the market is getting ready for a pullback. Nice, I love that. Okay, let's see the comments. What is that? UNH. What is that? I have no idea. Oh my God, what is this? Oh my God, wow. Let me see. Wow, thank you for sharing. I love when this is happening. Let me see. The crash is the crash is oh my God, 60%. Wow, amazing. Let me see. Monthly here. Okay, major crash here in monthly by monthly. Okay, testing the 55. Okay, so the thing here is okay, it's a fake out. It's a fake out. Look at this, beautiful. That's why I love this. Look at this. This drop, no one is selling here. It's just manipulation, at least. This is actually very interesting here. You see this major crash, 60% crash, and no one is selling here. Like I mean, when I say selling, is major institutions. Yeah, that's the thing. So thank you for sharing, because this is actually very nice. And we have here a major support here around this area, right? 200, 260, of course. Right now we're in the last here, in the last area, 200. Of course, there is no buy signal. I will not buy there, right? But what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna put this in my favorites. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna add here in the green one, yes. Because what I want to do is I want to see some consolidation here between 200, 220, something like that. And I will go to maybe one weekly chart, and I will start looking for the ADX getting negative. Now there is no volume here. There is no volume here, but price action is here. It's telling you this area is area of actual interest, right? So that's why, as long as it's not breaking 200, well, it could be a potential good opportunity, maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe 1 month or two. Okay. Okay, guys, I think that's all for today. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next live stream. Okay, take care.